Hello everyone, and welcome to my first book haul for December. Today is December 6th, and I already have quite a few books to show you. And I'm going to go ahead, so because there's quite a few already, I'm going to go ahead and film a part one to this. Anything else that comes in the rest of the month, I'll do a part two. And that includes things that I get, books that I get for my birthday or for Christmas. Yeah, if anything. So am I expecting anything else from, there are two books that I'm expecting from Amazon. So one's a middle grade and one's an adult, but they won't get here until about around the middle of the month. Between the 12th and the 16th is the estimated time of arrival. Now, some of the books I ordered are because there's a couple of read-alongs that I would like to participate in for the year of 2024. So I'm just turning to the first page of that so I can tell you which books it will be. I only bought the books for January, and then in January I'll get the ones for February that I don't already own. Unless I'm not sure on it, then I'll get like the Kindle version. But if I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like the book, then usually I'm gonna want my own physical copy. So yeah, okay. First up, I have, and this stack that you see in the thumbnail is not all of the books. So first up, I would like to participate in Bookstara read-along. So for January, and it's like every 2 months is one book. So we will be reading two series for the entire year. One of them is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. That one will start in July. I already own that book. But I did find out through Amy's channel on A-Star Reads that there is a novella to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, so I did get that. Pip is not in the mood for her friend's murder mystery party, especially one that involves 1920s fancy dress and pretending that their town is an island called Joy. But once the game begins, Pip finds herself drawn into the make-believe world of intrigue, deception, and murder. As Pip plays detective, teasing out the identity of the killer clue by clue, the murder of the fictional Reginald Remy isn't the only case on her mind. Welcome to the murder mystery party of the year. So, just a novella. I loved the first book. I already, was it last year that my mom got me book 2 in the series? Book 3 wasn't already out, or it was the year before. I don't know. But I did get it for my birthday or for Christmas either last year or the year before. I haven't picked it up yet, so I'll end up with a reread in 2024. Okay, so, but the series that we're going to be starting with, I only ordered the first book to make sure I like it, and then I will order the next 2 books in the series if I like this. So, January we are starting with, okay, so it's the Green Bone Saga, and book 1 is Jade City, written by Fonda Lee. For centuries, honorable Greenbone warriors have used magical jade to enhance their abilities and defend the island of Kikon from foreign invasion. Now the war is over and a new generation vies for control of Kikon's bustling capital city. 4 siblings of the powerful Kahl family must prepare for battle, and the fragile peace between the clans is about to break. So, yeah, I wanted to make sure I was ready for January. Yep. Okay, so this next, let me do this book first. Okay, so I won a book from Goodreads from one of their giveaways, and this is an ARC. It says, I guess the release is February of 2024. There's 3 dates on this. There's a February of 24. And then it says Indie Next deadline January 4th of 2024. Library Reads deadline January 1st of 2024. I don't know the difference between all of those. But anyway, the book is The Blueprint by Hiana Rashad. So this is an ARC. I'm looking for, okay, here we go. Celine Bonnet lives in Texas, where choice no longer exists. An algorithm determines a black woman's occupation, spouse, and residence. She finds solace in penning the biography of Henriette, an ancestor who'd been an enslaved concubine to a wealthy planter in 1800s Louisiana. But history repeats itself when Celine, lonely and naive, finds herself entangled with Bastian Martin, a high-ranking government official. She finds the psychological bond unbearable, so she considers alternatives. With Henrietta as her guide, Celine must decide whether and how to leave all she knows. Man, I'm struggling. It says it's inspired by the lives of enslaved concubines to U.S. politicians and planters. It unfolds over dual timelines to explore bodily autonomy, hypocrisy, and power imbalances through the lens of the nation's most unprotected, a black girl. So, these next two are ones that I had pre-ordered and they have come in. This first one is, I think it's book number 4. I don't remember the name of the series. Oh yes, book 4 of the Beautiful Quartet. So this is the final book in the series. I've only read book 1, but I loved it. And this one is The Ruined by Renee Ahdieh. So because I have not continued on with the series, I will not read the synopsis, but The Ruined. All right, this next one is the first in a series, Boys of Toman, I'm guessing, but this is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. It says, Johnny Kavanaugh has everything going for him. On the rugby pitch, he's a force to be reckoned with, even plagued with a hidden injury. Everyone knows he's heading straight for the top, but that means there's no room for mistakes or distractions. Not even the shy new girl at Toman College, the one with the sad eyes and concealed bruises. He needs to stay focused, keep his cool, and not let anything get in the way of the bigger picture. Except before he knows it, this lonely girl has become his only picture. Life has never been easy for Shannon Lynch. Bullied and tortured, she arrives at Toman College midway through the school year, praying for a fresh start, desperate to shake off the demons that plague her. But when she meets the notorious Johnny Kavanaugh on her first day, her plans to keep a low profile are at serious risk. As they fall into a complicated friendship and grapple with their undeniable chemistry, hidden pain and complicated secrets threaten to be their undoing. But Johnny... Undoing. Ooh, my voice cracked there. But Johnny won't give up on Shannon, no matter what it might cost them both. So... Okay, so this next one is the next book in a series. I read book number 3, and so I was ready to get book number 4, and that is for the graphic novel edition of the Babysitters Club. Middle school group of friends get together and form a Babysitters Club. So that's literally all it is. And this is book number 4, titled Claudia and the Mean Janine. So this is originally written by Anne M. Martin. And the art for this one has been done by Raina Telgemeire, and I think later on in the series it actually switches to a different artist. So we'll see how the art style changes, but I don't remember what number in the series it switches. Okay, so this next one is part of a read-along. It's a group that I'm a part of on Discord, and are my earrings backwards? No, they're not. Okay. Anyway, so January, so the goal of the readathon is to read diversely. So it's to read a book from a diverse background every year. January, the selection is for a author who is a Pacific Islander. And the book selection is The Bone People by Keri Hulme. When I looked, there was no Kindle available, and the hardback, there was like one left, and it was like $50 to $80 or something like that. So paperback, that's what I went with. In a tower on the New Zealand sea lives Kerwin Holmes, part Maori, part European, an artist estranged from her art, a woman in exile from her family. One night, her solitude is disrupted by a visitor, a speechless, mercurial boy named Simon, who tries to steal from her and then repays her with his most precious possession. As Kerwin succumbs to Simon's feral charm, she also falls under the spell of his Maori foster father, Joe, who rescued the boy from a shipwreck and now treats him with an unsettling mixture of tenderness and brutality. Out of this unorthodox trinity, Keri Hulme has created what was once a mystery, a love story, and an ambitious exploration of the zone where Maori and European New Zealand meet, clash, and sometimes merge. So, the Bone People. And then that same group will be reading a memoir every month as well. And the memoir is, I did get an ebook copy of that, so I'll include that, just an image here. I'm not going to read the synopsis. It's just a biography of the author, or of the actor, in this case, Matthew McConaughey, and that is Green Lights. So I did get a digital copy of that. Okay, and one that I got, I think just because I liked the cover, I don't remember, is Beautiful Graves by L.J. Shen. Sheen or Shen? I'm guessing Shen. Let's see. They say first loves are oftentimes the end of one's innocence. Those words couldn't ring truer for Evelyn Lawson, whose first brush with romance came with a heartbreak, and the thing that seems to follow her everywhere goes death. After a great tragedy, Evelyn loses all she cares about, her dreams, her family, and her soulmate, Joe. Guilt-ridden, Evelyn decides to isolate herself in Salem, Massachusetts. A shell of the woman she once was, she takes her days one at a time, careful not to allow herself the joy she believes others in her life were robbed of. But when the mysterious, handsome Dominic storms into her life, it becomes more difficult to stay in solitude. Dominic is different, adventurous, joyous, with lust for life and a passion to make her his. Evelyn is on the cusp of reinventing herself once again when the old wounds of her past are resurrected rawer than ever. There is nothing worse than being in love with two men, especially when one of them hates you. And this next book I got, I went with my mom to Barnes & Noble, and there's a cozy mystery series that I found that has a black cat on the cover. Well, it was like later on the series, like book 6, 7, 8, 5, something like that. So of course I had to do book number 1. And so they did not have book number 1 at Barnes & Noble, so I just ordered it. And this is A Second Chance Cat Mystery by Sofie Ryan. So the series is called A Second Chance Cat Mystery. Book number 1 is called The Whole Cat and Caboodle. And so there's the black cat on this cover. It says, Sarah Grayson is the happy proprietor of Second Chance, a charming shop on the oceanfront town of North Harbor, Maine. At the shop, she sells used items that she has lovingly refurbished and repurposed. But her favorite pet project so far has been adopting a stray cat named Elvis. Elvis has seen 9 lives, and then some. The big black cat with the scar across his nose turned up at a local bar when the band was playing the king of rock and roll's music. As he hopped into Sarah's truck, since then, he's been her constant companion and the furry favorite of everyone who comes into the store. But when Sarah's elderly friend, Maddie, is found with the body of a dead man in her garden, the kindly old lady becomes the prime suspect in the murder. Even Sarah's old high school flame, investigator Nick Elliott, seems convinced that Maddie was up to no good. So it's up to Sarah and Elvis to clear her friend's name and make sure the real murderer doesn't get a second chance. Okay. Okay, these next 3 books. Okay. One is, this is book number 2 in a series. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, so I'm upgrading to the next 6 books here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 books. Okay. So I was going to go with this one, which is Shadow in the Glass. This is a cozy mystery. It's a Greer Hogan mystery by M.E. Hillard, and this is book number 2 in the series. I read book number 1 from the library and loved it and been wanting to continue on with this series. So I purchased book 2, but I had to get myself the first book in the series, so I had my own copy. So I will read book number 1. So, got book number 2. I will read the synopsis for book number 1. So book number 1 is The Unkindness of Ravens. Again, the series is a Greer Hogan mystery. This takes place mostly in like a gothic library. Greer Hogan is a librarian and an avid reader of murder mysteries. She also has a habit of stumbling upon murdered bodies. The first was her husband's, and the tragic loss led Greer to leave New York behind for a new start in the village of Raven Hill. But her new home became less idyllic when she discovers her best friend sprawled dead on the floor of the library. Was her friend's demise related to 2 other deaths that the police deemed accidental? Do the residents of this insular village hold dark secrets about another murder decades ago? Does a serial killer haunt Raven Hill? As the body count rises, Greer's anxious musings take a darker turn when she uncovers unexpected and distressing information about her own husband's death and the man who went to prison for his murder. She is racked with guilt at the possibility that her testimony may have helped convict an innocent man. Though Greer admires the masters of deduction she reads about in books, she never expected to have to solve a mystery herself. Fortunately, she possesses a quick wit and a librarian's natural resourcefulness. But will that be enough to protect her from a brilliant diabolical murderer? And even if Greer manages to catch the Ravenhill killer, will living with her conscience prove a fate worse than death? So, I'll reread the first one and then I will continue on with the series. So, got that. This next one is part of another read-along group. The first book for January, this is the Tilted Kettle Book Club. I'm a member of this on Discord. And the book for January is The House Witch by Delemhach. It's book 1 in a series. So, it says, when Finley Ashoun joins the staff of the King and Queen of Daxaria, he's an enigma. No one knows where he comes from or how he came to be where he is, which suits Finn just fine. He's satisfied simply serving as the royal cook, keeping nosy passerby out of his kitchen and concocting some truly uncanny meals. But Finn's secret identity doesn't stay hidden for long. After all, it's not every day a house witch and his kitten familiar Kraken take to meddling in imperial affairs. As his powers are gradually discovered by the court, Finn finds himself involved in a slew of intrigues, going head-to-head with knights with less than chivalrous intentions, helping to protect the pregnant queen, fending off the ire of the royal mage, and uncovering a spy in the castle. And that's only the beginning, because Finn's past is catching up with him, just as his love life is getting complicated. So the House Witch. Okay. This next one I will not read the synopsis for because it is further on in a series. It's book number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the series. And I've only read the first 2, but I ended up getting the whole series, mostly because a lot of these later on were a pre-order, and this is one of them. So this is Fuel the Fire. This is part of the Addicted to You or Addicted series. It says it in here. Fuel the Fire. It's just Addicted. So Addicted series. So, and this was written by Krista and, I've got books toppling over. Krista and Becca Ritchie. So, a little bit bigger of a book, but yep. Okay. Next up I have, this is a middle grade, and I think this one's book 3. Yep, this is book 3 in the series. And book 2 is one that's going to be coming later on in the month. And so this one, I'm not going to read the synopsis for, but this is The Raven Riddle by Vashti Hardy. And this is a middle grade. So this will be a very quick get through. I enjoyed the first one, which was The Griffin Gate. And so then I thought I'll go ahead and order the other 2. But yep, so waiting on the second one to come in. Okay, this next one is part of a series, and I think they're like companion novels. Yes. So the author is Jacob Chance, and what the heck is the name of the series? I don't remember. Changing the Player was book number 1, which I have right here. And so this one I read and enjoyed, and so I wanted to get the second book, which is Kissing the Quarterback. So, little steamy cover. As the quarterback for the Charleston Pirates, the current Super Bowl champs, I lead a blessed life. Between my salary and endorsements, I have more money than I could ever spend. But when the sale of my old home doesn't line up with the closing of my new one, I'm forced to take up residency in a friend's empty house. Except it's not empty. Kendra, the woman of my dreams, my best friend's tempting little sister, is here taking up more space than just the rooms in this house. She's in my head and under my skin. The only problem is she's hell-bent on resisting me, and I'm determined to make her surrender. I didn't achieve everything I have without hard work and focus, and that's the way I'll win Kendra over. No matter how hard she tries not to, she'll be kissing this quarterback in no time. So, is this dual POV? Oh, the name of the series is Charleston Pirates. So the main male character's name is Darren. And I'm guessing it's dual. So Darren, yeah. And we're getting some from POVs from Kendra as well, so dual POV. I got the next stack here. All but one of these came from the advent calendar for Once Upon a Book Club. So if you don't want to know, then yeah. But anyway, and I don't know if the books are going to be different or if they're going to be the same. That I'm not sure, if all the boxes are going to contain the same books. I don't know. But I am, as you are more than likely aware of, I am working on collecting the Fear Street books. I do have the original Fear Street series. I am currently working on the Fear Street sagas. I now have book number 9. Will not be reading the synopsis as this is a series. So this is book number 9 in the Fear Street saga world by R.L. Stine. I'm working on collecting all of these. Alright, got that one. So I did get the 12 Days of Bookmas from Once Upon a Book Club. Got the collection of short stories. I'm not really in the mood to do this, but I did go ahead and open up all the gifts because I'm impatient and I just wanted to know. So I did that. It's a great box, I will say. I really enjoyed the box. So I eventually will get to this collection of short stories and I will read that. But it says, you are never alone when lost in the magic of a book. So these, I think, let's see, these stories and accompanying gifts are to help us celebrate our love of reading. They can be enjoyed any time of the year. So I don't know if these are all Christmas or just, I don't know, stories, but collection of short stories all by different authors. We have Christy McManus, Logan Ashley, Mary B. Barbie, Danielle Barr, Adriana Waters, Katie Evans, Jessica Booth, Riley Becker, Bonnie Callahan, Miranda Tuttle, Kim Chance, and Zaina. I don't know how to say the last name. It's Qutubuddin. Kutubidin? I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry. So yeah, collection of short stories. Now the books that came in my box, again, I don't know if it's going to vary from box to box. So there were 5 books. One was a paperback, and this one is Band of Sisters by Lauren Willig. A scholarship girl from Brooklyn, Kate Moran, thought she found a place among the elite students of Smith College, only to have her illusions dashed after graduation. But when her former best friend, Emmeline Van Alden, begs her to be part of an expedition to help French civilians devastated by the German war machine, Kate reluctantly agrees to join the new Smith College Relief Unit. Kate and 17 other Smithies, including 2 trailblazing female doctors, set sail for France, armed with money, supplies, and good intentions, but find that the chateau that was to be their headquarters is a half-burned ruin, and the villagers they meet are in desperate straits. Despite the constant shelling, the Smith volunteers bring welcome aid and hope to the region. But as they cope with the hardships and terrors of the war, Kate and her colleagues find themselves navigating old rivalries and new betrayals that threaten the very existence of the unit. With the Germans threatening to break through the lines, can the Smith unit pull together and truly be a band of sisters? Women empowerment there. Okay. And the next 3 books that came in the Once Upon a Book Club Advent Calendar that I received are all hardbacks. So I have all our, I am like struggling. I am so sorry. All our Shimmering Skies. I wanted to say Summering, but I wanted to combine Shimmering as well. Anyway, this is by Trent Dalton. And this is another war-focused book. Darwin, 1942. As Japanese bombs rain down on her hometown, newly orphaned Molly Hook looks to the skies and runs for her life. Inside a duffel bag, she carries a stone heart and a map that will lead her to Longcoat Bob, the deep country sorcerer whom she believes cursed her family. Accompanying her are the most unlikely traveling companions, Greta, a razor-tongued actress, and Yukio, a Japanese fighter pilot who's abandoned his post. With messages from the skies above to guide them toward treasure, but foes close on their trail, the trio will encounter the beauty and vastness of the Northern Territory and survive in ways they never thought possible. A story about the gifts that fall from the sky, curses we dig from the earth, and secrets we bury inside ourselves. Next up, I have Half Sick of Shadows by Laura Sebastian. Everyone knows the legend of Arthur destined to be a king, of the beautiful Guinevere, who will betray him with his most loyal knight, Lancelot, of the bitter sorceress Morgana, who will turn against them all, but Elaine alone carries the burden of knowing what is to come, for Elaine of Shalott is cursed to see the future. On the mystical side of Avalon, Elaine runs free and learns of the ancient prophecies surrounding her and her friends, countless possibilities, almost all of them tragic. When their future comes to claim them, Elaine, Guinevere, Lancelot, and Morgana accompany Arthur to take his throne in stifling Camelot, where magic is outlawed, the rules of sorcery chain them, and enemies are everywhere. Yet the most dangerous threats may come from within their own circle. And this cover looks really familiar. I don't think I have a copy of this. I may already have a copy of this. Anyway. Okay. That's just what happens when you get a book box sometimes. Okay, this last book, not in this haul. This last book from Once Upon a Book Club is The Betrayals, written by Bridget Collins. This one says, at Montvere, an ancient and elite academy hidden high in the mountains, society's best and brightest are trained for excellence in the Grand Jeu, the Great Game, an arcane and mysterious competition that combines music, art, math, poetry, and philosophy. Leo Martin once excelled at Montvere, but lost his passion for scholarly pursuits after a violent tragedy. He turned to politics instead and became a rising star in the ruling party, until a small act of conscience cost him his career. Now he has been exiled back to Montvere, his fate uncertain. But this ratified world of learning Leo once loved is not the same place he remembers. Once the exclusive bastion of men, Montvere's most prestigious post is now held by a woman, Claire Drayden, also known as the Magister Ludi, the head of the Great Game. At first, Leo finds an odd attraction to the Magister, a mysterious, eerily familiar connection, though he's sure they've never met before. As the legendary Midsummer Game approaches, the climax of the Academy's year-long buried secrets rise to the surface and centuries-old traditions are shockingly overturned. This next stack, I can't lift it all. but it will go down. This next stack, I'm trying to slide it over. There we go. I put a book on hold at my library, on hold. And they were having, I decided anytime I go to my library, I always check to see what they have in the book sale area. I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 books from my library book sale. These 14 books came to a total of $1.55. It was 4 hardbacks. So basically the hardbacks were 25 cents each and the paperbacks were 10 cents each is what it was. So $1.55. So let's go with the hardback. I only got one hardback. I did look, pull all, like there were several books that I found that I thought, oh, that looks pretty good, but it was later on in the series and the first book was not on sale. So I skipped like the third or second book or whatever it was and only went with either standalones or the first book in a series. This first one is book number 1 in the Legends and Shadows series, written by Angie Day. It is Legend Undone. Maria wasn't just a legend Mara wasn't just a legend who survived on human energy. She used to be a dangerous shadow who wielded more power than she wanted. When she discovered that Alec, the leader of the Shadows, and her childhood love held a dark secret about her past to keep her prisoner until he could use her against the humans, she ran. As the first legend to escape the Shadows alive, Mara must keep moving, hiding among the humans that every legend learned to hate, while she searches to understand her past. Under the alias Kate, she meets Kylan, and his way of life challenges everything she used to know. As she falls for Kylan, she finds clues about what happened before she became a shadow. But the closer she gets to an answer, the closer Alec can get to her and destroy everything she has grown to love. And this is a fantasy according to the sticker here. It does say it's a fantasy. Anyway, okay. I don't want to topple those over. I'm going to save these two for last just because they're mass market paperbacks and I don't want to stack a bunch of regular size paperbacks on those because it'll be all wobbly. So this next one, I believe is a standalone, and it is Infinite Rooms by David John Griffin. And I just like, you know what? Let's give it a try for 10 cents. While narrating to Dr. Libakov, a remembered psychiatrist, Donald Clement's inner reality becomes infused with surreal fantasy. He watches Neptune rising from the sea, meets a giant who displays the wonders of the universe, engages with an incredible stranger who promises the secrets of infinity, and through it all, the beautiful Bernadette, his muse, his inspiration. But is she real or just the dream within his dreams? As Donald falls deeper into the mental realm, so his carefully submerged memories are gradually revealed again, exposing the shocking truths he has been hiding, even from himself. And I have not when I was at the library, I did not read the synopsis of these books. So this next one is I consider a booktube darling for the authors, and that is Christina Lauren, and it is The Unhoneymooners. So we've got The Unhoneymooners, and this is book 1 in the series. I did find out that's part of a series. I thought it was a standalone. Olive Torres is used to being the unlucky twin, from inexplicable mishaps to a recent layoff. Her life, or Olive, I think I said Oliver, Olive. Her life seems to be almost comically jinxed. By contrast, her sister Amy has an eternal champion. She even managed to finance her entire wedding by winning a slew of contests. Unfortunately for Olive, the only thing worse than constant bad luck is having to spend the wedding day with the best man and her nemesis, Ethan Thomas. Olive braces herself for a wedding hell, determined to put on a brave face. But when the entire wedding party gets food poisoning, the only people who aren't affected are Olive and Ethan. Suddenly, there's a free honeymoon up for grabs, and Olive will be damned if Ethan gets to enjoy paradise solo. Agreeing to a temporary truce, the pair head for Maui. After all, 10 days of bliss are worth having to assume the role of loving newlyweds, right? But the weird thing is, Olive doesn't mind playing pretend. In fact, the more she pretends to be the luckiest woman alive, the more it feels like she might be. This is book number 1. This is a fantasy book number 1 in the Fair City Files. Author is Jennifer Gooch Humer. Operation Tenley. Meet Tenley 12th, the elemental teen born with the power to produce weather. Cool? Not really. Elementals who can create weather make Mother Nature angry. It's time she got rid of them. Only one thing is standing in her way: fair ones. These ancestors of fairies keep kids like Tenley safe, but when rookie fair one Penny fails to do so, she's forced to travel to Earth, a place where no fair one wants to go. Now Penny has 48 hours to convince Tenley to give up her power. It won't be so easy. Tenley's got away with wind, and after being thrown deep into Mother Nature's gardens, where trees grow upside down and insects attack on command, a little wind might be just what Tenley needs to survive, even if it kills her. I think this one's a standalone. Anyway, they're either standalones or it's book 1. So I'm going to quit saying I think it's a standalone. Unless there's a sticker on here that says, which I think one of them has a sticker that says it's book 1. Anyway, this one is The Essence of Perfection. The Sweet Scent of Second Chances by Nita Brooks. Among the uber famous, she's the most highly sought after fragrance maker and a well-kept secret. But designing a scent for pop's newest superstar could take Nicola King and her family's business from elite to downright legendary. Of course, mystery is part of Nicola's brand, so no one knows she's actually an overcautious person who always puts her own life on permanent hold, until her ultra-personal list of regrets is accidentally put on a social media blast, and she's challenged to go after everything she really wants. From finding a hobby to reconnecting with a family member, Nicola's getting some surprising results. But when she reveals her deepest, darkest secret of all to her troubled sister, the fallout threatens her budding romance, her career, and her reputation. Now, between ambition, heartbreak, and hard truths, Nicola must risk the courage to fix the damage and decide what success truly means. Zorkon's Secret, The Search for the Conundrums by Jeff R. Spalsbury. There's an ambassador, something about a war, library stickers on the back covering that. Let's see. A never-before-seen race that supplies the energy crystals used to fool the entire solar one space fleet. She'd, I'm guessing is Judith, she'd come to Zorkon to discover why delivery of the energy crystals had stopped. She soon discovers that the supply problem is more sinister than she realized. It's a coordinated attack by 3 planetary factions that have joined forces to control the energy crystals and seek total solar domination. She never expected members of her security team to try to kill her, so she must enlist the aid of Antonio Albero and his brother Ark, 3rd-generation Zorkons. The 3 must battle a well-armed military force and travel deep inside the dreaded, unstable Zip energy field, which covers a third of the planet, to locate the secretive conundrums. If the enemy finds them first, they will have the supremacy for planetary-wide domination. The ambassador also learns that Zip might move at any time and possibly destroy much of the planet. Everything is against them in this life and death race to see who will locate the conundrums first. And if they do find them, do the conundrums want to be found? Tearing Down the Statues by Brian Benedurti. I don't know. Let's see. Miss Seiling is a recorder with a perfect memory and expected to help build a seamless record of history. That's what the Salt Mystic taught us 2,000 years ago when she came stumbling from the flats with her visions. Unfortunately, he's probably the worst recorder ever. So when he meets a joker with an incredible secret, the two of them are soon on the run from swarming lunatics and towering assault troops in the heart of a city under siege. As a global war, as it has for 3 generations, the horrible Talgo family is the spark of the swelling world war, and their wily generals and scheming counselors clash monstrous fleets in battles of shrieking steel entrained tornadoes, cannonballs of lightning, and tanks the size of cities. But it's the Joker's secret that is the most powerful weapon of all, a trigger set by the Salt Mystic herself in myth to save the world from itself. Okay, this is book 1. It says it's book 1 in the Salt Mystic series. Okay, the last couple of books, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more. 7 more in this haul. Okay, this next one is Prince of Tyrants by Rab Marcellus, it looks like. Angela Brown. Can't read the next words, so I guess she's keeping secrets. It says, now she has a problem with her heritage, one that could change the history of the world, of World War II and the end of the Third Reich. So that's all I know. I did not realize there was a swastika on the background of the image. So yeah. Anyway, all right, this next one is book 1. I do remember this one. It is a Lone Star Hero's love story, The Loyal Heart, written by Shelley Shepherd Gray. So, this one says, Robert Trow, former second lieutenant and Confederate officer of the Civil War, made a promise to his comrade Philip Markham. If anything happened to Philip, Robert would look after his beloved wife, Miranda. She was his life, his world, his everything. After the war, Robert is left to pick up the pieces and fulfill his pact. When he arrives at Miranda's home in Galveston, Texas, things are worse than he imagined. Philip's name has been dragged through the mud. Everyone in town believes him to be a traitor, and his widow is treated as an outcast. Even more disturbing is her emotional well-being. Miranda seems hopeless, lost, and so very alone. Robert had thought his duty would be simple. He would help Miranda as quickly as possible in order to honor a promise. But the moment Robert laid eyes on her, his plans changed. I'm guessing it's the fall in love. Okay. But, let's see. He's mesmerized by her beauty and yearns to help her in any way he can. He makes it his duty to protect Miranda, turn her reputation around, and to find some way to help her smile again. But it doesn't prove to be an easy task. Robert knows something about Philip that could make Miranda to the core, shake Miranda to the core, and alter her view of the man she thought she knew so well. The Conveyance by Brian W. Matthews. Beneath the calm waters and pastoral fields of Emersville, a deadly secret lurks. But when psychologist Dr. Brad Jordan stumbles upon the odd happenings in the town, he sets off a series of tragedies that threatens to expose a danger long kept hidden from the world. Relentlessly following a trail of madness, suicide, and murder, he soon finds himself confronted with a massive conspiracy and a sinister device known as the Conveyance. That's all the synopsis says. Okay, next up I have Substrate Phantoms, a novel of first contact by Jessica Reisman. It's just the galaxy on there. And, of course, the library stickers covering up part of it. So I know there's a space station. Something is haunted. Even after generations of exploring deep space, humanity has yet to encounter another race, and some believe what is troubling the station may be an alien life form. Gency and his operations team are one of many close-knit working groups that keep Termagenti operational, but after an unexplained and deadly mishap takes his team from him, he finds himself haunted by his dead teammates. In fact, they may not be alone. He may have picked up a ghost, an alien intelligence that fled its dying ship. As he struggles to keep his sanity, dangerous members of the station's managing oligarchy begin to take an increasingly focused interest in him. Haunted by the urgent presence of another within his mind, he flees the station for the nearby planet, Ash, where he undertakes an exploration that will redefine friend, foe, self, and other. This next one is book number 1 in T.R. Halcyon Zior. It's volume 1, called Awakenings. Chiron, by Derek Sterling Kerr. This is a heavy. It's over 600. It's over 700. I don't think it reaches 800. Nope, 783 pages. On Chiron, the perpetual confrontations between the destructive manipulations of Legil Yabej and the transformational will of it's KOAZJUUR''Ly. I'm going to say Koa. KOA. Rise and fall as they weave across the outer shell of Mulcaron, finally breaching the inner sanctum of Doscuron. I'm going to have to see if there's an audiobook because I can't pronounce any of these names. Interlacing the chaos, threads of awakening may yet make a difference. If only the many disparate groups and individuals spanning the divides of time can recognize a deeper truth so heavily shrouded by the veils of their perception. Born to be the Kajin Rabiel and destined to become the conduit for Koa. Liars is the first to perceive what lies beyond those veils. He has much to do with very little time, and waking his entire world from its collective slumber will require more than a simple nudge. Even with the help of Yaz and others, transforming present events alone won't be enough. It's a good thing time isn't as linear as most people think. Guiding the prophetic skills of a Reistakan Ninook called Leo Tepe Newt, 5 millennia in the past will influence more than anyone but liars can imagine. So, too, will steering the destiny of Beasel and Padran as they fight for their own survival during the unfolding destruction of the War of Deceptions. And finally, Thesic Zelfi, thrust into action in the twilight of her life, finds the future fate of all Chiron depends on her. Her knowledge of Leopate Newt and following liars whispered echoes of encouragement from a time long before she was born. Oh my heck. Okay, let's move on to hopefully where I can pronounce more of the words. The last 2 books in this haul. Brave New Earl by Jane Ashford. Romance. Let's see. An earl mired in melancholy is no match for a determined woman. Widower Benjamin Romilly, Earl of Furdes, has given up hope of finding happiness. His wife died in childbirth 5 years ago, leaving him with a broken heart and a child who only reminds him of his loss. Miss Jean Saunders is a cousin by marriage. She doted on Benjamin's late countess and can't bear it when she hears rumors that the Earl is too bereaved to care for his young son. She arrives on the scene to evaluate his fitness as a father and, if necessary, to take his son away. Jean's sudden eruption into the Earl's household simultaneously infuriates and invigorates him. She may be the only person who can something into his neglected home. and his aching heart. Anyway, so next up, this is, I believe it's a collection of 3 novellas, An Amish Winter. The novellas are by Amy Clipston, Kelly Irvin, and Barbara Cameron. And I can't read the synopsis for the first one by Amy Clipston because the library sticker is on covering part of it. Let me see if I can read some of it. Down on their luck, then can't read it. Something about a small apartment. An Amish boss. Okay, they are certain they will never feel at home in the rustic cabin without any modern conveniences, and they start to blame each other for their seemingly hopeless situation. But with the help of their new Amish friends, Chance and Mia begin to enjoy their cozy cabin and realize that home is really where the heart is. So there might be a Chance, but the character's name is Chance. Okay. The one by Kelly Irvin is called A Christmas Visitor. Okay. Previous published in An Amish Christmas Gift. Anyway. Franny Mast knows her parents have good intentions when they send her back to B County, Texas, to live with her aunt and her aunt's new husband, Mordecai. After all, Franny knows nothing can come of relationship with Rocky, the handsome English farm boy back in Missouri. But all bets are off when Rocky follows Franny to Texas to plead his case. And then the third novella is When Winter Comes by Barbara Cameron. It's been too long since Rebecca put on her skates and flew across the ice. 5 years have passed since a winter accident took her twin, Lizzie, and left Rebecca heartbroken. Ben has waited for her all that time, and at last she's starting to heal, but has too much time passed for their hearts to be reconnected. So, yeah, that is it. I decided to go ahead and do this haul mostly because of the books that I got from the library. It's like, and the Once Upon a Book Club. I thought we're already at a big threshold, and I really don't want to have a several hour long book haul at the end of the month. Hopefully, if I get any more books, well, I know I'm getting 2 more, and then whatever else, if I get any books for my birthday or Christmas this month. So I don't think part 2 would be nearly as big, unless I read like part of a series and then want the next book, and then I'll order, of course, as I continue on in a series. So yeah, that's it. Let me know, have you read books from any of these authors? Have you read any of these books? Is there a book that particularly stands out to you that you go, I want to read that? So yeah, let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below, and until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I'll talk to you later.